Hello everyone, it's Evelyn and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be taking you with me to customize my new Truly Me 90 doll. I got this doll specifically with the intent to customize her because I knew that I did not like the blue wig, although it does have some pretty qualities to it. It's just not anything that I want in my personal collection. But of course, she was like $70 on Amazon for Prime Day, and she would make a gorgeous base for a custom because she's got the Josefina mold that I love so much. I did do an unboxing of both her and Truly Me 89 on my channel that you can also watch, but this is the portion where I give her a makeover. So I am starting with taking her wig off, and I actually could not find my non-acetone nail polish remover. I was like so impatient to get this wig off and didn't want to look for it. So I was like, well, I don't want to take her head off because she's got a zip tie. I guess I'm just going to try something new. So I actually used a steamer, and it was an experiment. It worked, but I used a steamer to kind of melt the glue a little bit and then used a spoon and my brute force to pry the wig off. As I was doing that, there was some hair coming off, but that was happening just by brushing the wig even before I went in and did this. So I go back in with the steam again for some of the tough spots in the middle of the head where there's more glue, and it worked like a charm. It came off pretty easily. I was very impressed. There's a couple of bangs, I guess you could say, or just little bits of hair that have glue, or I guess it's gel in there. So those kind of might not have survived the wig swap, but it's off and it's still in great shape. So I'm going to use that for one of my daughter's dolls. Now to pick out an actual wig for this girl. I already knew that I wanted her to be blonde. Had I made her brunette, she would be a Krista clone. If she was a redhead, she would look like my other custom that has blue eyes in the Josefina mold. So blonde was the way to go. This wig in particular is one that I got for, who was it? It was for Aspen, who is my Truly Me 80 that I customized with light blue eyes and brown hair. But that didn't work out. I just, for whatever reason, didn't think that this worked for her. So I am glad to finally find a use for this gorgeous wig. I don't know what it's called. I can put the link to it in my description, but it's from Zazu Dolls, and I just love this. Next up, I'm going to be adding some face paint because one of my biggest complaints about Truly Me 90 was the lack of face paint. It's just so stark in contrast to Truly Me 89's gorgeous dark face paint. And then you look over at 90 and she's just pale. And I mean, look at my skin. I am pale too. This is not a diss. It's just they didn't give her any life to her face. She looks sickly, maybe is a good way to put it. Even us pale people have color to our lips, you know what I mean? And in our cheeks. It's just, I don't know what they were thinking with her. But that's okay. I'm going to fix it. My method for doing face paint on dolls is to mix acrylic paint in floating medium. I have a video on this, and I might end up doing a redo of that just with a little bit more detail. But the key, of course, is to use the floating medium to kind of thin out the paint so it's not going on so opaque at first. Use a very fine detail brush like the one that I'm using here, and go in thin layers. So you're going to want to do multiple layers and thin layers. Don't let that paint get gloppy. I'm not sure that's a word, but I think you know what I mean. Don't let the paint get gloppy. Just kind of keep working with it. And that's what it looks like dry, since I used matte paint and matte floating medium. So for this doll specifically, I wanted to do something a little bit different than my normal. Normally, I'd probably just top this off with some matte Mod Podge, but I want this face paint to be darker than my usual, and I want it to be a gloss. So what I'm actually doing is going in with another coat of that color that I made for her and just making it a little bit more, a little bit darker. It's a beautiful color, and it's prettier in person for sure. I did a mix of terracotta and pink and brick red, and I think it suits her skin tone really well. It's not too pink, if that makes any sense, but it's a little bit more pink than I normally do. Normally, I'm more for a peachy pink color. This is a little bit more pink. So now I'm taking some gloss Mod Podge, which this is another experiment because I have not used this before. And right away, I'm like, oh gosh, this is going on really thick. I don't know if that's a good thing. So I might have put too much on my brush, but I'm kind of trying to just get it all over the lips. And then once it's all on the lips, I'll just kind of use my brush to maybe just kind of take a bit of that excess off. I'm kind of roughing it here. I don't have a towel, so I'm just using my hand to wipe off the excess. But again, the same thing. I don't want this to be too gloopy. I don't even know if other people use this to gloss their dolls. I'm just trying it. A lot of the things that I've learned in this like doll customization world has just been by trying new things and having that courage. It's easier to have that courage when, you know, it's easier on a doll like this that I didn't spend as much money on. So it's not that I don't care about the doll. It's just I have that confidence, you know, in myself at this point. You know, I kind of know what I'm doing, and I want to experiment a little bit on a doll that I'm okay with messing up, because for the most part, everything that I'm doing here is reversible. I can take some nail polish remover and get that acrylic paint back off. As you can see, I'm like wiping stuff off, you know, patting it with my thumb to get excess stuff off. So I'm winging it. I'm getting this blush on there. It's the same color I used on the lips, but I'm applying it the same that I would my blush, going a little bit higher on the apples of her cheeks here just for fun. And as I'm doing that, the Mod Podge is drying, and I think that it didn't dry exactly the way that I wanted it to, but I think it looks fine, especially for pictures, and I can always experiment a little bit more later. But now what I'm wanting to do is add some very light freckling. So the freckles that I'm putting on this doll, I know it doesn't look light right now, but you'll see in a second I'm going to kind of pat on it with my thumb and it's going to get very subtle. But what I'm trying to do with this doll is the type of freckles that I have on my face. They're very light, and then I have several bigger, almost mole looking freckles as well. So I'm patting them so that they are super subtle, super light. That's what my own Like I said, that's what my own face is like. I think it's just kind of freckles from being outside in the sun occasionally. And then, of course, you've got my big old mole freckle that I gave her here. And I'm just using some watercolor markers here. So here she is. Here's the final result. I'm really happy with the way she looks. I think that she looks a lot more full of life. Total makeover. I think I could have done a better job on her lips, but I can fix that later. For now, I'm just going to enjoy her. I'm going to figure out what to name her, and I'm just going to kind of, at the moment, dress her a little bit like Barbie, because that's who she reminds me of at the moment. So here she is, before and after. I hope that you had fun watching me make her into a new doll. I hope that you've learned a little bit from this video too, brief as it may be. And of course, thank you guys so much for watching this video and being here with me. I appreciate you coming to my channel and watching my content. I always, of course, appreciate your comments and all of the support that you've given me. So until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.